welcome back to Beekeeping Basics with Danny. So today is Wednesday, I'm not sure the date, Wednesday I'd like to say 15th, 16th of April. Let's have a little look if we can. It's April the 15th, Wednesday, April the 15th. Now, it is about 4:30, so weather's not been great over the last few days. It's been quite low, windy. It's come out quite bright today. It has been raining. It's come out quite bright today and we're borderline 15 degrees. But I want to get into this, do a second inspection on the smaller hive. I've done an inspection on these two, so I want to get into there quick. So I'm going to make this pretty quick because obviously it's getting later and the temperatures are slowly going to be dropping. So I'm going to be quick with it. The last thing we want to do is chill brood. So you know, without further ado, we're gonna get into that smaller hive. Okay, so we did put a honey super on there last time we was in here, give them some space. So we're going to see how that's going. Let's get this rubbish off of here. See how they're doing within that. Still got the insulation board on this particular one. I might lose that today as well. Look, I did the rest. Actually I will. I think we're done with that because look, as you can see, it seems to cause ants. I don't know if it's to do with this feeder that's been left on here or what, but I should just shake them couple of bees out of there before I put it down. Just don't want them bees on there. I'm going to start off, so nice clean hive tool as always. We'll shake them ants off of there in a minute. I'm going to see how we're doing with the honey super basically. Lots of bees on the top there. Just put that aside. See if they started framing any of this out. Not overly done loads on it. This was freshly combed. Might swap them about. Started combing that one out, which is nice to see. I think these were ones that we had put in there. So what I might do is move these now to the outer side. Just give them a little shift about. As you can see, so what we'd do is get one of those in there to get combed out. I might even, as we talk, put that combed one in there, bring this to the outside. That one's come apart, which I'm not liking. So see if we can sort that one out quickly. Slide that back into where it's got to go before they do start working on it. Not sure why that has done that, but we'll get it back in there anyway. That's frustrating when that does that, I'm not going to lie. What I might try and do is do that with it. So right, we're going to offload this. Let's get to that queen excluder. Now this hive wasn't as busy when we last went into it as the other two. I'm going to just shake them on there. Shake them onto there. Get this crown board back onto that. Just to keep them as was. Right. What I haven't got is my frame holder, so I'll get that out. like I say, we're gonna try and get through this as quick as we can. So, starting with one that we have a bit of room on. And I've got the bee inspector coming around to visit these bees on this coming Tuesday. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be here, so I'm going to be at work. Just checking that queen's not munging around on there before we hang this. So yeah, I'm not going to be here, which is a shame for when he makes a visit. It was just following on from the EFB that was found last year, a few mile up the road from here. Let's get that off any of this comb that we don't want. Just makes life a bit easier. He done an inspection on these last year and everything, touch wood, was good then. So yeah, he's going to do another inspection just to make sure. Really nice fellow, Isaac. Really knows his stuff, and that's obviously why he's in the job that he's in, because he's a master beekeeper. Right. These are all very, very light at the moment, which is at least giving our queen some laying room if she needs to come up top. I'll just, like I say, that may well be that they've moved any of these stalls up into them empty frames that we had. And there we have some cat brood on there, so like I say, I'm not going to leave this out too long. What I will do is check any larvae that I can see in there, making sure that it is nice and freshly white, which it is, which is good. Bees are looking nice and healthy, lots of pollen and that in there, so that's a nice frame to see there. So we're and again taking a good look in there. There's a few queen cut, or there's a queen cup that's been made there. There's another queen cup that's been made there as well, so we are going to check in that. Again, there is cat brood on there, so we're not going to hang around. If I come across the queen, that's a bonus. I'm not going to search for her. Larvae's looking good. Get that back in. Let's not hang around with it. And again, lots of cat brood again on there. So with the amount of bees that we had up in the super, I'm not going to offer them any more room. They are making play cups, which, as we all know, is a telltale sign. This is what bees do. I'm going to leave them. Again, the larvae looks good on there. No sightings of the queen. We're going to get that back in. So as you can see, it looks like we've had some brood emerge. Oh god, that one run right into my ear hole then. So again, everything looks okay on that. Get that in there. It's just they're filling that with pollen. You know what you look, pollen, and hopefully what they do with that is they just, all the worker bees through the day, bring that in, plant it there, and hopefully what they do is they then move that upwards into the super. Same there. Lots of pollen in that. I'm going to take that bit off of there. doesn't need to be there. Obviously Isaac, the bee inspector, when he comes, he won't touch this honey super. He's got no real need to. He's not, well, this one actually will, no sorry, because this is a brood and half, so this is the half. What I will do with that is I'm just going to double check that that queen is not, I'll give that a shake off, and I'm going to move that up. I'm going to do a little swap around with that. So I do believe this one here. What we're going to do is we're going to swap that over. I do believe it was this one. Or was it this one? That's slightly frustrating. It was this one, because they're capping that over. Double check that that queen's not on that, because I'm going to drop that straight into that honey soup. And what we don't want to do, obviously, is put that queen up into this top honey super. That's a no-go. So we're going to put that in there. We're going to swap that over to that. We're also going to have a little look at this one. Again, they're doing what they need to. They're filling that up. Okay, we'll get that back in. Bit of stuff that we can remove on the inside of there. Oh, sugar fell in. I'll get that out in a second. Just so we don't harm the bees. We don't want all that stuff on the side there. So, okay. What we're going to do is we'll put that back on there. Like so. And then we're going to get this onto that, because we don't want our queen moving down. We're going to place that lid back on there, keep some warmth in there. That's what I just took off. Get that out. Building comb on in the gap there, so that seemed to be wanting to build comb here, there and everywhere. So it's funny because I never normally have this where they do all of this. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it another clean up. Send them down to do it. Get that all off of there. Clean that up again in a minute. So just give it a clean up. And again, as quick as we can. That's a bit tight, that one. See, this is not the best of frames. I think I'm gonna take this one out and I'm gonna get this one replaced. I don't like the look of that. It's all a bit, I don't think the bees like it neither. I've got one inside and we're gonna lose that. I will bring one back out with me. And again, if we can clean them up as we're going, we will do. Taking any of this burr comb off. Also giving this a bit of a, anything that I missed the first time. This is just some empty frames that we put in there. Starting to draw that out with a bit of comb. And because I'm going to replace that with an empty drawn comb one, we'll introduce that in the middle-ish area. So bringing in lots of pollen. I'm just hoping that they're going to move that up. There's a bit of drone brood on that. Wind's getting up. Well, it's been a little bit windy all day, and that's why I want to get through this relatively quick. Again, Queen's not done much laying on this. I've not seen her neither. Okay, we'll see what's what. And there we go, we've got some fresh larvae in there, so yeah, she's laying. That's not the best of frames, neither. It's got a bit of a rip in it, which again, that's slightly annoying. Can't see the queen on there anywhere. Lots of brood on this one. Can't see the queen on that. We're also, you know, checking for any kind of swarm cells while we're going. Just can't see the queen on that neither, but I know she's in here. I think it's that kind of time of the day where bees are a little bit antsy. A little bit different than me going in there in the middle of the day when all the foragers are out. So again, just having a good check about, just having a little swoop to see if we can see that queen. Not visible yet. Can't see her anywhere. Larvae looks nice and fresh in there. I was half expected to see her anywhere. I thought it possibly would be on that, but no. So lots of cap brood on there. Just having a check around, see if we can see the queen again. No, potentially just not come across her. Mister, we won't stress too much over it. Might give them a bit of a smoke down, getting a little bit. Again, quick look on this one. Lots of cap brood on that. No sightings of the queen again. I'm not going to stress too much over that. It's always nice to see the queen, you know, but if you don't come across her, you don't come across her. Sometimes just doesn't happen. We'll have a look on this outside one. We can split that bit of comb off of there. Seems to be lots of honey in that on that. Again, it's a bit of a random comb they've built on that. So we haven't come across the queen. She's certainly not on this one as well, but we won't stress. We do have fresh larvae in there. We have no emergency sales or anything, so what I will do is just try and give this a bit of a clean off these sides. Not sure why they're deciding to build comb there when there's lots of other places they could be building it. So we'll get this back together, and I will go into the, I'm going to have to run into the garage and bring a spare frame in with me. I'm going to because it's that time of the day. They're not impressed with me going in there this time of the day with these temperatures, I don't think. I'm a bit annoyed that the smoke is not at its best. So we're going to move this over, put it back into place as gently as we can. And what we're going to do is we're going to go off and get this frame that we need back. Oh, there's no one back. We're going to drop that in there. They're going to clean that up because that's a lot better than what we've just had. So we're going to try and smoke these down. They're really not impressed with me being in here today. Just kind of annoying. Because what I don't want to do is squash any bees in the process. So Smoker's not playing ball today, which does get frustrating. We're going to get this onto here. There we go. Just placing that back on. Queen excluder ready to go on. I do like to normally give that a good smoking down, but we just haven't got time to mess about because they get trapped under it, and it's so frustrating when they do that. Okay, as you can hear they're not overly happy with me today. This is the consequences that we face when the weather's not on our side and we've got to kind of do these inspections. Little trap bee there, don't like to trap any. I really hate it when I do that. There we go. Let's just check this frame that we've got none on there. Nope. Now we'll get the lid back on there. Like so. And that's not the lid that came off. This is. So we're going to leave the insulation board out now. That is a wax moth there. Get rid of him as soon as we see him. Don't want the wax moth munging around. And there we go. We're not going to introduce any more honey supers on there as we don't need to. And you can see why we've change that. It just looks slightly mouldy around there. It's a shame, you know, this part's okay. They're not liking it. We're going to do away with that. Okay, so that was a quick inspection. So we wanted to get through that relatively quick. So the temperatures are slightly low. They are 15, maybe 14, at the least 13. I'm hot, I'm sweating, so and it's getting late in the evening. Bees, you know, late evening, they don't like it. Like, these bees are never normally like this with me, as you've seen in my previous videos. So, you know, again, that's, you know, something that you can learn on, something that, you know, put in the back of your mind. It's always good to go if you can, you know, early afternoon or any time through the day, really. Just not this kind of time of the day, really, when it's getting dusk, the sun's setting, and you're pulling the whole thing apart. They're going to get angry, but they're simmering down. So yeah, we didn't come across the queen. We know she's in there. We've seen larvae. Larvae looks all good. Changed the frame around. That looked a bit mouldy. It was a bit crap. Didn't get round to doing that in the first inspection because what with the cleaning and what have you. So yeah, we've done that, and everything looks okay. So we're going to leave that one now for another 7 days. I've got to get into these over the weekend, see how these are doing. But I think until next time, we'll leave it for now, because just let these bees simmer back down, get the stuff packed away, and we'll see you next time. So, from Beekeeping Basics from Danny, ciao for now.